Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our 2025 Wall of Fame induction. This has easily become our most favorite day of the school year. And you can see, obviously, with the faces and the amount of people that are in the room, it's just that more incredible. So thank you for coming this morning. My name is David Coates, and I'm the athletic director for the Middletown City School District. And it's my honor and privilege to kick things off this morning. You can just feel the energy, the pride, the emotion as soon as everybody started walking through the doors. Such an incredible feeling and absolutely amazing. It is so very nice to see some of our previous Hall of Fame inductees joining us here today. Thank you. Stacy Morris, I know she's in the room. Stacy, please wave your hand. Mel Mosley. Lois Hayes is in the house. Lois. George Klein for the 1961 football team, representing the undefeated football team. And I know, and we all know, that Coach Wolfslayer and Coach Hipsman are both smiling down on us right now. So today we're honoring our amazing past while inspiring our bright future. So what I would like to do is, if we can start, shut down the lights, please. We're gonna start with our Wall of Fame production video that was produced by Jason Tomasulo. So please enjoy the presentation. Now that's an introduction. To the class of 2025. Thank you, Jason Tomasulo, for producing that video. That video will be on our website for everybody to pull and download for themselves. Every day we have 2,500 scholars pass through this hallway each day. And they're wanting to know more and more about the inductees that are being inducted every single year, which is incredible. And on our touch screens on the right and left, you'll be able to see the bios are there. All of our inductees are enshrined on our website every single year. So this is for everybody to enjoy. Whether you're in our Wall of Fame physically, you can use your touch screens, or if you're not in the Wall of Fame, you can visit our website and share with your families and friends. Also, so that website is on our district page. You can also use the QR code on this page so you can access our Middletown's Wall of Fame. And that's ours forever. The Board of Education dedicated funding for us to have our own domain for the life of our Wall of Fame. So thank you very much for Board of Education. We know that our scholars are developing a deeper pride and appreciation of our rich athletic history each and every moment they pass through this hallway. And it is our hope that they are aspiring for the greatness themselves, as all of our inductees did in the past. Each and every year, we add another chapter of our Wall of Fame. Our third chapter is simply incredible. The class of 2025 includes 5 blue chip athletes, 3 trailblazing, amazing coaches, and our second all-world team inducted to the Wall of Fame this year. They are all so deserving, and we cannot wait to celebrate their records, their achievements, and their stories with you all this morning. The most unique feature, like I said earlier, is about how our website reaches everywhere. You don't have to be physically in our Wall of Fame. Simply visit our website. To make this day come to a reality, you have to have an incredible team. So I'm very fortunate as the athletic director in Middletown to be surrounded by some incredible teammates. So I would like to take some time this morning to celebrate them and also to thank them for all their hard work and dedication throughout not only this year, but the years that brought us up to our first induction. So if we could just please hold our applause until the end, because there's a lot of people that I need to thank here, so please bear with me. First and foremost, our Board of Education. I know we have our board member here, Mr. Perino, so thank you, Mr. Perino. Our Central Administration, our cabinet team, Mr. Donahue, our Executive Principal, and Kate Sheedy for supporting us. Our new Assistant Athletic Director, Justin Sturge. Tammy Walter, our Athletic Administrative Assistant. Kevin Gleason, our Stadium Coordinator. Our Community Liaisons, Kevin Witt and Caroline Woodward. All of our current 140 coaches for believing in our mission and philosophy. Jason Tomasulu, our tech tosa who produced the video. Our entire technology team, Kevin, Vesh, Paul, Rich, Marcus, Justin, and Kerry. Cindy Parisi Bosco for helping us set up last night and today. Charlene and Joanne as our greeters who are handing out your programs. Thank you very much. Our Buildings and Grounds team and our custodians here at the building for making our venue so beautiful inside and out. Special thanks to our stadium crew, Randy, Skip, Mark, and Andrew. Our security staff, who did an amazing job getting us in here safely today. Also, another special thank you to Lauren Burr and Heidi Bishop and the entire food service staff. Let's give them a round of applause for that wonderful brunch. One last major thank you for our Wall of Fame committee for their dedication and commitment to our process and our philosophy. We have another wonderful class that we're inducting here this year. So I'd like to thank them personally, Paul Shuko, Diane Wanzer, Denise McEwen Simonson, John Williams, Mitch Williams, Kevin Gleason, Kevin Witt, Eric Hipsman. Now that is an incredible team. Let's give everybody a great round of applause. Now it is my distinct honor to introduce the man of the hour, our esteemed Board of Education member, the voice of Mini TV for football, basketball, and softball. Our MC for today ceremony is Mr. Edwin Estrada. Thank you.
Let's give it up to the best athletic director in the state of New York, Mr. David Coates. And for those of you who don't know, I mentioned it at each Wall of Fame ceremony. This is our third now. The integral part that Mr. Coates played in putting all of this together. With all of our rich history that dates back to the late 1800s, Middletown never had a Wall of Fame or a Hall of Fame until that gentleman decided to take it upon his shoulders. And he's not even a midi bear, true in blood. He's from Valley Central. Still blue, but we don't get Pine Bush, I'm sorry, Pine Bush. See, I already forgot where you were from. Nevertheless, let's give him another round of applause again, because this is happening because of him. How are the middies doing today? As you will constantly hear, once a midi, always a midi. There you go. So we're going to celebrate some incredible individuals this morning, as well as a fabulous 4x400 meter relay team as our inductees into the 2025 Wall of Fame. And as we welcome 7 individuals and a relay team as members of Middletown's class of 2025 Wall of Fame, we remember that most inductees to any Wall of Fame, and for that matter, any Hall of Fame, usually spend years, if not a lifetime, trying to build up their Wall of Fame or Hall of Fame credentials. Well, our first inductees this morning etched their way into Middletown athletic lore and carved out their Wall of Fame resume in a little over 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Now you're going to watch something here, and I want you to take a look at it. They helped put Middletown on the map from an athletic standpoint. And one of the reasons they did that is, as you see this next video, you'll notice that the announcer never mentions the name Middletown, New York until the very end of this particular race. So let's take a look at the next 3 minutes and 13 seconds.
Newburgh Elite, Knightdale, Middletown, Northwestern, Indy Elite, Don Bosco, and Thornwood of Illinois. The U.S. leaders, Northwestern of Miami, Hugh Graham. On fire in lane 4. They've run 3:10.69. They'd like to run faster here. Takes 3:08.05 to beat this outstanding meet record. Miami of Northwestern, Hugh Graham, the senior, handing off to Artie Burns, the sophomore, who's already gotten 2 silver medals in the hurdles. Knightdale, Burkhart Ellis, the fabulous 4x1 anchor, trying to eat up ground here on our leader, Artie Burns. Everybody else chasing behind Ellis.
Let's go Middletown.
Knightdale and Northwestern. Burkhart Ellis.
Junior, move!
Knightdale out in front. Devin Johnson. Don Bosco Prep. And Northwestern. James Grant, running in third right now for Northwestern, trying to close the gap on Nightdale and Don Bosco. It's going to be 5 teams very close together, and Indy Elite trailing not far behind as we go into the final exchange.
Come on, Mel. Come on, Mel. Aren't you dying to find out what happens?
Nightdale, Marquillo Jones, and Jeffrey Green on the University of Miami, Northwestern. Pierre Webb, Middletown, New York.
No.
Middletown, New York. For Webb Pierre, number 7 in the nation, and the New Balance Outdoor Nationals win. Middletown, New York. They came in ranked U.S. number 7, and they walk out national champions.
You deserve an explanation of what happened on that last race. The team in red, Juniors Track Club, did not show up for their heat this afternoon at 4:15 to qualify for the final. They declared they did not show up to compete. The rules say you cannot advance to the final if you did not qualify. That's why they were not allowed to run. It was just a fair way to treat it.
They were just
wanted
scared.
to let you know what happened.
I think we want to leave this up at the end. I think there might be a couple extra seconds. I thought we saw Coach Hipsman hugging at the end, but we'll take it. It did show it? Okay, great. Let's give it up once again to our 4x400 national champions in 2011. And amazing, folks. But it was not that easy as they made it look in that video. Not just the 4x400 meter relay that would catapult them into Middletown history. The whole 2011 outdoor season was in fact a study in adversity, from injuries to personal issues to the intense pressure to succeed. Coach Eric Hipsman described the season as being up and down, a real roller coaster. But through it all, one constant rose above: the saving grace on their road to becoming the finest 1,600 meter relay team in the United States. As Coach Lindsay Hammer says, they really bonded and they became a family. On that day, a little over 14 years ago, down in Greensboro, North Carolina, the order: Manny Mosley, Shakoy Burton, Webb Pierre, that's right, Webb Pierre, not Pierre Webb, and Mel Mosley. Mel fashioned the remarkable kick to overtake the anchor leg from Thornwood, Illinois, on the final turn and sprint to victory. Heck, the Middies were 4th or 5th for most of that race, so they weren't even mentioned until there was about 200 meters left in the entire race. And even then, their incredible comeback caught the announcer by surprise, so much that he misidentified Mel as Webb Pierre, and then to boot, he compounded his error by flipping Webb's name into Pierre Webb. Coach Hammer said this relay family's goal in the beginning of the season was to win a national championship, and that they never wavered from it, and to see them pull it off was a moment that she'll never forget. 3 minutes and 13.71 seconds was a product of agonizingly hard work, but also of a familial bond that stressed a team-first approach, best exemplified by the unselfishness of 2 of the foursome relay teammates, Adam Abdur-Rahman and Darin Brown. Adam and Darin embraced their roles as the team alternates, who not only helped push their teammates to their limits, but also helped the team win their fair share of races throughout the outdoor season. These interchangeable parts, if you will, helped fuel Middletown's perpetual improvement throughout that track season. The national championship was actually the cherry on the top, but we cannot forget that these 6 gentlemen were already accomplished. In addition to being ranked 7th in the nation, outdoors prior to that championship final, the relay team won the outdoor New York State title, the indoor Eastern States, and the prestigious Millrose Games. And that doesn't even include the long list of individual achievements earned by Middletown's sensational 6. Adam Abdur-Rahman, Darin Brown, Pierre, Shakoy Burton, Manny Mosley, and Mel Mosley, aka the 2011 4x400 meter relay national champions. We officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Let's take a picture right here, guys. Let's go right in between.
Come on, Mel, you should already know the routine by now.
It's a full team here.
Hang with me. Hang with me. You guys are great. My insurance policy. All right, guys, thank you.
Gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Come on over this way, gentlemen. And you get the microphone now. Wait, I gotta go first. Oh, you're the anchor. Yeah, I'm
I told you how to prepare. I told you how to prepare. I had to give this to you. Darin, you want me to say something?
So I just wanted to touch base briefly on individually. I'm not going to talk too much about the statistics, but I want you guys to realize 4 guys ran that race, and that's what you saw. But Adam and Darin also contributed heavily to multiple other relay teams that were the best in Section 9, the best in New York State, and continue to be. Out of these 6 guys, we had 21 school records these 6 guys owned, and 12 of them are still school records here in Middletown. Darin and Adam helped with our sprint medley team that took 3rd at the same national championship. They're number 1 in the section still in that sprint medley. The 4x1 relay is number 4 in Section 9 history, also our school record. And Adam was one of the best hurdlers in the state. The last thing I will say, that whole season was a lot of ups and downs. And this relay race really showed what the season was about. We were in 4th or 5th. We had our ups and downs in life, on the track, in school. A lot of ups and downs that season. We took 2nd indoor. We were the favorite indoor in the 4x4. We took 2nd. And I know a lot of people would say, okay, that's phenomenal. But, you know, we were upset about it. These guys were upset about it, and they decided to change that outdoor. But a quick story. These guys, we had a death in Section 9 from one of our track athletes. Not ours, but Monroe Woodbury at the time. And one of our guys had to go to the funeral the day of Millrose Trials. And Adam stepped up to run the Millrose Trials. And we qualified for Millrose. We go to Millrose Championships down in Madison Square Garden. That young man, Pierre, stepped back in. He ran it. And Adam was gracious enough to say, yeah, he's our guy. He's in it. Those guys ended up donating their medals because they only gave us 4 medals. They donated their medals to the school because all 5 guys didn't have a medal. And so that's why it's up on the wall in the sports lobby. And that's what these 6 represent. I know Darin and Adam were alternates, but these guys, 21 school records, some of the top in Section 9. We went to the state meet outdoor, and we walk into a restaurant, and you could hear kids saying, that's Middletown. That's Middletown's relay. And that was upstate New York. So that just epitomized these guys. They graduated. They all went on to college and did great things for Middletown High School. So thank you. Well deserved. Anybody want to talk? No? Mel say something?
All right, guys. As an anchor, I like to go last, but you know, my guy's a little nervous. But I just want to come up here and just give all thanks to my team, truthfully, because that whole year, I wouldn't have made it without them. The year prior to that, I only wanted to be an individual. That following year, all I wanted to be about was the team. They made sure that I made it all about the team. We did it with the cherry on top, national champs.
To follow up on what Mel just said, that's really what it was, because the years prior to our senior year, everybody was focusing on individuality. But then once we started running relays, we were just, forget it. Like, we were just having meet record after meet record, and then we just wanted to keep it going. And then our senior year, we did have a lot of ups and downs, but we always leaned on each other. And I want to credit Junior, Hammer, I see Coach Beam, all the track coaches that were there and that pushed us and like helped develop that bond. And yeah, so Nationals was a great time. We placed in both the 4x4 and the sprint medley. And those honestly are memories I'll never forget. So I appreciate my team.
We're passing the mic like it's a baton, right? But some things never change.
Don't drop it.
Yeah, right. Some things never change. I'm excited, appreciative. Thank you guys for acknowledging us. Thank you to our coaches, Hammer, Senior, Beam, everybody. We love you guys. During high school, after high school, this kind of bond lives on forever. And yep, thank you.
What they just said.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna come and make this short and sweet. I just wanted to thank my team because they did help me out a lot. Because in high school I was a little nut. I wanted to play football. I didn't want to do track at all. Junior made me do track. I wanted to go to Monroe when he told me I had to run track. I told him I was switching schools. He said, no, you're running track. All right, cool. Then I got on the track team. I seen how these guys was doing. Kind of made me a little bit jealous because they was all fast. I didn't know how I was doing. I was a football player. Got on the field with them, and these boys changed my life. So,
Let's give it up one more time for our national champions. Great stuff, great stuff. So our next inductee still has to pinch himself at times. And to think, Kendrick Ray has been able to earn a nice living for almost his entire life by playing a kid's game. Kendrick could not be with us today because he is, in fact, playing that kid's game 5,000 miles away at a preseason game for Mykonos, BC of the Greece Professional Basketball League. This morning, we're delighted to have Kendrick's wife, Joanna, and fellow family members and supporters joining us in celebration of his remarkable career and induction into Middletown's Wall of Fame. We instill in all of our scholars here at Middletown, once a Middie, always a Middie. Kendrick has not forgotten his Middie blood, so much so that he wanted to make sure that you heard from him directly. So let's hear from the man himself.
Hey guys, Kendrick Ray here, and I just wanted to start by saying I apologize for not being able to be there. I'm currently overseas right now, and we have a preseason game today, so unfortunately, I couldn't make it. I I am very honored to be recognized. I want to thank everybody that helped me throughout my career this far. You know, my family, my parents, thank you for the sacrifices that you made. To my siblings, thank you for always keeping that competitive spirit and inspiring me every day. To my wife and my kids, thank you for the sacrifices that you are making for me to be in this profession. To Coach Kelly, who believed in the 80 to 90-pound kid whose jersey couldn't even fit in the 9th grade. Just want to thank you. So without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I just want to express my gratitude to you guys and everybody else that has been a part of my journey up to this far. So all the inspiring athletes coming out of Middletown with the right circle and the right work ethic, I think you can make it anywhere you want to be, and I think I'm a great example of that. You don't have to jump from school to school to get noticed. Like I said, with the right mindset and the right work, they'll come and find you. So, just trust yourself, believe in your work, and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. And lastly, I just want to say thank you again, and I'm truly honored to be a part of Middletown.
So in Kendrick's words, it's crazy to travel the world to do something that I love. In describing his almost decade-long professional basketball career, Kendrick says it's such a blessing that he'd do it for free. Well, we don't want to keep him to that word. So. Kendrick became an instant standout at Middletown after being promoted to the varsity team as a freshman. A 6'2" guard, Kendrick got to play with his younger brother Aaron, leading the Middies to the 2011-2012 Section 9 championship as a senior. He averaged 17 points, 6 assists, and 3 steals that year, and was a first-team Section 9 All-Star. Kendrick is universally recognized as one of the best players ever to wear a Middie uniform. Kendrick continued his basketball excellence at the college level. As a junior, he led Division I Kennesaw State in scoring and assists, averaging 18.7 points per game and 2.7 assists per game, resulting in being named the Atlantic Sun Conference Newcomer of the Year. As a senior, even better, scoring a team record 656 points, averaging a little over 21 points per game, and becoming the first player in Kennesaw State history to be named first-team All-Conference. After college, Kendrick kept finding that extra gear in his quest to reach the pros. In 2018, he averaged 6.6 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 3 assists per game for the Utah Jazz Summer League. He later went on to fulfill a 2-year guaranteed contract with Maccabi Tel Aviv of the Euro League. Now 31, Kendrick has no regrets not reaching the NBA because he's played the kids' game professionally in 5 countries, including a league MVP season in the Czech Republic back in 2018. Kendrick now looks to his next chapter, perhaps coaching and giving back to the community that gave him so much. Though he may be 5,000 miles away and 7 hours ahead of us, we can all keep imagining Kendrick on the other side of this wall, soaring above the rim with another spectacular play. Kendrick Ray and the Ray family, for your remarkable and memorable achievements on the basketball court at Middletown, Middletown mostly, but also Kennesaw State and throughout the world, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Hall of Fame. And we ask Joanna to come on up, and the Ray family.
Thank you so much. Come on, mommy.
Can you slide over just a little bit? Thank you. Hang with me quickly. Awesome, thank you.
I'm going to put Aaron on the spot for his brother.
How y'all doing, everybody? As y'all can see, I'm Kendrick's little brother. We grew up playing basketball from 3 years old to now, and it's amazing how Kendrick have changed through the years, and I can say that he's been dreaming about this for as long as I could tell y'all, and working out with him, playing games with him, and I ain't gonna lie, it was kind of stressful, because being a younger brother, I was always fighting with him, we was always arguing. Being competitive, working out together, trying to make us better, each other better every day. Sometimes it was hard for me to play with him because he's always yelling, why are you doing this, why are you doing that? And to me, I'm just grateful to be his little brother and actually help him win the Section 9 championship in Middletown, 2011 and 2012. And being a younger brother, my sister there, they always tell me to believe in myself, have faith in anything you do, no matter what, right or wrong, no matter if you're going through difficult times, just keep your head up, just keep going, be confident in anything that you want to do in life. And I still keep it going, still have situations that it's difficult to go through, but I'm getting there, and being a family, have a family that's supportive, it really shows a lot. So thank you for supporting my brother and acknowledging him for this class of 2025 Hall of Fame, Wall of Fame.
While we do a battery change to the microphone, two things. Aaron probably doesn't remember this, but my son went to school here at about the same time Aaron was going here. My son is autistic, and he used to count all the time. Aaron used to, from the basketball, come over and just shake his hand. He still remembers that. My son's 28 or 29 now, but thank you, Aaron, for that. Those little gestures mean a lot. And I want to acknowledge the coach that Kendrick mentioned in the video, also coached Aaron back in the day, Mr. Jim Kelly, in the Clarke corner. Let's give Justin a great round of applause here. And then earlier we had recognized some of our previous Wall of Fame inductees, and we now see Mr. Mr. Steve Burton in the far corner, one of our Wall of Fame inductees. Welcome, folks. So our next inductee showed signs early in high school that he had some real talent when it came to distance running. And this one's personal to me because he was a mentor for me. I was a freshman, I was an 8th grader when he was a senior on the varsity team, and many of us looked up to him as we were coming onto the track team. But Wayne Beam won the Orange County League Freshman Cross Country Championship in 1976 at historic Bear Mountain State Park, running a time faster than most seniors that year, or any year for that matter. Outside school, Wayne had a routine. He was a creature of habit. He'd leave his house at the corner of Wisner Avenue and Cottage Street and run a few hundred yards down to the Sproat Street Park. You think it was for running? He stopped at the basketball court there at Sproat, spending hours trying to hone his basketball game. Was he good, Coach Kelly? Yeah, he was? All right. You see, even though Wayne was on his way to an illustrious running career and later an exceptional coaching career at Middletown, he considered himself first a basketball player who just happened to like to run. He was a key member of Middletown's 1978-79 Section 9 championship basketball team, but make no mistake, Wayne is part of our 2025 Wall of Fame not just because of his success on tracks, courses, and later on roads. He's also a Wall of Famer because of his decade-long success as a Middletown cross-country and track coach, inspiring the best of all his scholar athletes, not just his champions. Wayne Beam was a 3-time high school New York State cross-country meet qualifier. Twice he finished second in the Section 9 championship meet. And when he graduated in 1980, Wayne hit every school track record at 800 meters and longer, in addition to every cross-country course record. He earned a Division I college scholarship to Wagner College, and then transferred and spent 3 years at Division I Iona. Wayne caught the running bug again at the age of 27, and became one of the area's top road racers, winning more than 110 races. Often those road race battles were against George Schurter. There he is over here. Wayne and George became close friends and later coached cross country and track together here at Middletown. Wayne is proud to have coached 10 county and sectional champions and sent 4 athletes to national championship meets. He describes himself as a rah-rah guy who tried to make his runners better. And if you bear with me, I have to grab my phone. I didn't have it with me because there's a no cell phone policy in schools these days.
Saturday.
And the reason why I wanted to get it, so I received this message this morning, and it came from one of our Wall of Famers, Chris Egger. And it said, if you see this before the induction ceremony, please tell Wayne Beam the story of Middletown distance running starts with Chapter 1, Wayne Beam. You, my friend, set the bar. Excuse me. You, my friend, set the bar for the other chapters. And there would be no book without the original MIDI, Wayne Beam. Mr. 1519 at Bear Mountain, plus the 423 mile, those were the targets to chase. Congrats, brother. Proud of you. That's from Chris. So Wayne Beam, Coach Beam, for your cross-country, track, and basketball achievements, as well as your coaching accolades, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame.
You get a picture first. You need a picture.
2 minutes behind him.
Hang with me. Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you. One thing I can say is running goes round and round. My first coach was Senior Hipsman in Modified. I was actually going to try out for soccer, but they had an announcement that to have cross-country tryouts when I was in 7th grade. So I asked the teacher, what's cross-country? And she said, oh, it's running. So I said, oh, great. I like to run. So my first coach was Senior Hipsman, and then 35 years later, I was actually coaching with Senior. So, but my most influential person growing up was my coach, Coach Klein. We didn't have much money, and he would make sure that I had running shoes. He sent me to cross-country camp. Even though after every cross-country season, he'd call me in his classroom because he found out I signed up for basketball rather than run indoor track. So freshman year he did it, sophomore year he did it, by junior year he just let me go play basketball. So, and then my next greatest thing was being able to come back to Middletown and actually coach, my old high school. And when I was hired, as I was leaving, Dave said, don't you want to know how much it pays? And I said, oh, I get paid? I would have done it for free because I love running, I love Middletown, and I just want to thank Coach Bud. I know he's here too. Junior, I was really grateful to coach with Hammer, Junior, Senior. I mean, they were great. And one of my best friends is here, George Schurter, who I was able to compete against in the roads, and actually He beat me most of the time. But then I actually coached with him too. And then running has got me so far in life. I mean, I met my best friend, Mike, who's here. I've known him for 40 years. My high school friend is here, Carmine, who was my roommate.
Wagner College.
He was my roommate at Wagner. And
Boston beat Philadelphia.
that's and then a lot of my kids that I coach are here. Lisbeth, Araceli, Dana. I mean, one of the greatest achievements for me was to come back and actually coach at Middletown. So once a midi, always a midi. Thank you.
And I do want them to raise their hand. Coach Bud's in the far corner over there. And Coach Klein, who was my very first coach when I was in 8th grade as well. A lot of section championships for that man over there. So congratulations to everybody. So toughness was always a part of our next inductee's character. Steve Garland inherited that blue-collar, get-your-hands-dirty work ethic from both sides of his family. As Steve describes it, he had an edge because he was surrounded by tough people. Steve says those early lessons weren't attached to a silver spoon. He saw what real work was like, learning early on that life was not easy and that it was the opposite of entitlement. Problem was, Steve still hadn't harnessed that toughness. When he first tried wrestling as a 7th grader, which was really a wildly late start for the sport, toughness is one thing, but as we all know, focus and discipline can be distant cousins when you're an athlete. A year later, one conversation changed all of that. Steve's coach at the time, Randy Keys, offered Steve a choice as an 8th grader. You can go with Coach Keys down to the Bronx to see how tough he really was, or Steve could refine his focus and discipline with Coach Keys' help and work towards becoming a state champion. To this day, Steve says, I got my start because of him. Coach believed in me. I wasn't the most talented athlete. Me and my brother didn't even have wrestling shoes. It was a blue collar and old school as it gets. With Coach Keys' guidance, Steve became a focused, disciplined athlete, willing to do anything possible to become a champion. Steve Garland went on to win the county championship as a sophomore, and then another coach, Paul Cummings, helped mold his belief system. So began a career that would include twice reaching the state finals, twice winning section titles, 3 times winning Orange County League titles, and that was just the accomplishments here at Middletown High School. That blue-collar, nose-to-the-grindstone work ethic helped lead him to a remarkable career at the University of Virginia. That included being an NCAA runner-up in 2000 and eventually a brilliant coaching career that brought him back to Virginia, where he's currently entering his 20th year as head coach. In his time as a Wahoo coach, Garland has compiled a 194 and 120 record while coaching 23 Atlantic Coast Conference champions, 14 All-Americans, and 2 conference titles. Steve Garland, Coach Garland, for your achievements in the sport of wrestling, both as an athlete and as a coach, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School class of 2025 Hall of Fame.
I'm so sorry. Awesome.
So 2 things I want to talk to you guys about: repentance and gratitude quickly. The first one, repentance. There's so many people I have to apologize to start off. I was a complete pain in the bleep growing up. I was a lot. You guys will get that pretty quick. I was a lot to deal with then, and I'm a lot to deal with now. And I thought to myself on the drive up, I had a 6-hour drive up to figure out how I was going to do that. And I thought, what better example to start with apologies. And one of my favorite movie characters, Chunk from the movie Goonies. You guys remember the movie Goonies? You know the scene where the two crooks they're just crushing poor Chunk, and he's in the chair. And he's going, "I'm sorry." And in 4th grade, I threw up on Mrs. Fletcher. And you guys know what I'm talking about? That's kind of the way I wanted to go with this to start. So right off the bat, my family's just smothered all over the place. You know, look at Uncle Ed, I'm sorry for being a sissy when you try to teach me how to hit baseball. Aunt Alice, I'm sorry for always coming to your house. I used to run to Aunt Alice's house when my brother would beat me up. I would actually hide in Aunt Alice's house. And you were my refuge. I remember hiding in your basement a couple times. You're like, "This is a big one. Danny's coming. You better stay down there." Uncle AJ eating all your food. Constantly. I remember you used to give me the stink eye every now and again. I'd be eating your salad sandwiches and the stuffed shells. Uncle Steve, I'm sorry for wetting the bed when I was a kid at your house. You cleaned me up, man. It was one of my earliest memories. As a kid, I was probably 5. Poor Uncle Steve's cleaning me up like I was so ashamed. Like I was so sad, man. Aunt Tan catching me cussing at Grandpa's house, you know. Joe, I mean, think of all the craziness. And my mom's friends are here. And Mom, they were lying to you when you came to pick me up, when they babysat me with Claire and Sue, and they said I did a good job. I didn't do a good job. They were lying to you. Thank you guys for getting my back, though. But so, anyway, I thought about that, and I said, let me sort of channel the gratitude piece with both repentance and gratitude in one story. So state finals my senior year, I blow it. I had just taken 3rd at the national championship, the high school national championship. By the way, the guys who won the 4 by the relay, you guys kind of humbled me. I thought I was kind of a stud, but I lost in the championship. I didn't win it. I didn't come from behind, blew it. So think about this punk 17-year-old kid that's obsessed with this goal, and I blow it. And my whole family's there, my coaches are there, and I acted a fool. I mean, I was a lunatic. I ripped my bracket up and stormed off. My twin brother was coming off the mat. He got it first. I just haymaker him as soon as I came off the mat. He didn't even do anything yet, you know, just because he was there. And I thought, what a praise God moment, though, in all seriousness. I get to come back in a time warp and do it over again and do it the right way. And say, "Hey, Ma, you know, thanks for working 2 and sometimes 3 jobs, you know, so we could have everything we needed. We didn't have everything we wanted. We didn't have flashy stuff, but we had everything we needed. And thanks for that. Thank you to my family for all the stuff I said. I'm joking, but you guys have no idea what you meant to me and Dan growing up. You know, I mean, we always had a safe haven, always had a house to go to, always had somewhere to be. It's a total open house mentality. And that family it changed my life. So thank you guys for that. Thank you to my teammates that are here. You know, Joe Pistone, who's a legend back there. Joe, this guy. First of all, he's had his own TV show. But, so Joe actually had a pure love for the sport that I had never seen before. I was a very outcome-fixated human being. And I couldn't understand why this dude genuinely loved doing something this hard that much. I was like, what's wrong with this guy? But it was contagious. And it was because of you that kept that fuel going in me and Dan. I got my crazy buddy Mitchell over here. You know, Mitchell taught me what it was like to be a true competitor. Spelman running next to me every practice. And he's a way better athlete than me. He's a real athlete. He plays soccer. He can run and do cool stuff. But good looking. You know. I had that. And I remember, Doug, seriously, I remember me and Doug were roommates at the state championship every year. And I remember thinking, this dude's genuinely a really nice human being. I remember being so perplexed by that. He's just being nice to me because he's nice. It's like, what an awesome dude you are. You know? And then, and more, you know, Perez and Tomasulo, by the way. Where's Tomasulo at? Thanks, by the way, for hooking up, making me look sweet.
Gotcha. I love you.
Thank you, man. But all you guys, my teammates, I love you. And the coaches, let's sort of put it to a close here, give you guys a break. But my coaches, so he mentioned Coach Keys. Thank you, by the way, for bringing that story up. That hard truth, you know, my pastor in my church says that forgiveness is the currency in the kingdom of God. Well, in athletics, hard truth is the currency of a good culture. Hard truth, being able to have the courage to tell somebody something they don't want to hear, and then being able to accept it. Well, Keys, if you know Randy Keys, any of you guys, it's sad he's not here, man, because he was such a huge part of my life. He's literally the reason why I'm standing here. I wasn't going to continue wrestling. I didn't have any real hope or any real goals. And man, he yoked me up. You did that. You made it classy. But what he actually did was spike me against the wall and said, dude, you're running wild. You got to knock it off. He's like, I'm going to take you down there right now and leave you for dead, see how tough you really are. I was like, I know what? I was like, I'm not that tough. I weigh like 80 pounds. And so I'm telling you, man, that was a huge part of my life. Eugene Naboa over here. You remember, we talked last night about keys, how influential, by the way, Eugene was my bodyguard my freshman year. You guys can see, smallest dude in school, you need a little help, especially at this place. You know, that was my help right there. And then Coach Cummings, the biggest influence on my life, maybe ever. You know, you said, look, kids need three things. They need something to believe in. They need somebody to believe in them. And they need guardrails. They need fences. And he gave me all those things. That dude was so crazy. He was crazy enough to think I could do it before I thought I could do it. Does that make sense? You mentioned your coach sending you to the cross-country camp. That's what he, sorry. That's what he did. And I remember not even knowing what camp was. You know, that's how ignorant I was. He's like, no, you're wrestling this summer. Constantly pushing, things like that. And coach, attention to detail, structure, all those things, right? And here's where this all comes together. So the late, great Billy Graham once said that a coach has the opportunity to impact more people in a single year than most human beings will in a lifetime. Think about the power in that. I believe that. I've lived it. And here's an example. So coach pours into me. Then I get the job at Virginia. I'm pouring into guys. One of my guys, my first ever signee, he's a Wall Street executive. He's a vice president of a global arbitrage company in Wall Street. I just met with him, hit him up for $500,000 a couple weeks ago. Another one of my guys is my second recruiting class. He's literally running the Children's Pediatric Cancer Research Wing at UVA Medical. Because that never happens without Keys, without Cummings, and I pour into him. Now look what he's doing. And that's just one example of many. And me and Coach, the reason why we're so tight to this day, we talked about this yesterday, we were joking about how his other team, he left Middletown and went to another school, which we won't name. And we joked about how his relationship with those guys was nowhere near as tight as it was with us. And the reason why we were kind of digging through that and unpacking that is because it was hard here. And real relationship is forged in adversity and trial and setbacks and the purifying work of pain. It's not done through, butterflies and rainbows. So that's why we're so damn tight. I talk to this dude every week. I talk to him more than I talk to my own wife most days, And I'll do anything for him, he'll do anything for me. That bond is something that's special. So to close, Lichtenstein, where's Jay at? So this guy right here, what he's doing here for Middletown Wrestling, I don't know how much you guys know about the program, but that's the best wrestling coach in the state. I mean that sincerely. Because he's doing hard stuff every day with hard kids, man. So they need you, and I'm thankful for you. That's it, I'm out.
That was awesome. We need to have him come back. We need to have him come back and speak to many of our students because, the demographics of the school may have changed, but that hometown feel, that work ethic has never left. Whether you're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, it's still the same thing here in Middletown, right? What he just described is what a lot of our students now go through each and every day. And these coaches that everybody's been talking about when they come up to honor them, they have a lot to do with that every single day. So our next inductee jumped into the pool for her first swimming lesson when she was just 5 years old. And to tell you the truth, I don't think she's gotten out of the pool yet. As a matter of fact, she was here this morning talking to some of our scholar athletes. Though many years removed from her glory days at Middletown High School and later St. John's University, Sharon Russell Parr still swims every day. Her master's group in Darin, Connecticut is filled with an amazing group of people. Sharon still loves the sport and how it benefits her overall well-being and health despite no longer competing. When one talks about the best female swimmer in Middletown High School history, the story begins and ends with Sharon Russell Parr. End of discussion. Today, she is one of the newest members of the MHS Wall of Fame, placing her among the very best athletes to wear the Midi blue and white. There are 10 non-diving events in high school swimming. By the time Sharon graduated in 1986, she held school records in 9 of those 10. Slip into the high school natatorium, just down the hallway and to the left, when you get a chance, and take a look at the records board on the wall. Sharon still holds the Middletown records in the 200-yard freestyle, 200 individual medley, 100 butterfly, and 100 freestyle, and that's nearly 40 years since she set those marks. Sharon won 6 Section 9 titles and qualified for the state meet as a sophomore, junior, and senior. She had 4 top 5 finishes and placed 9th at another event at the state championships. Her high school achievements earned her a full Division I athletic scholarship to St. John's, where her success continued. Sharon broke 5 school records at St. John's and was the 1989 Big East Conference champion in the 200 butterfly. She was a team captain and a 3-time most valuable player. Sharon's success was the result of a lot of hard work. She was raised in a swimming family. Her father, Gordon, was her club coach. Her mother, Belle, was a swimming instructor. Sharon used to practice after school for Middletown and then go right back into the pool during Dad's team practices. Her brother and sister, Gordon and Audrey, often were right there with her, and they both had fine careers themselves. Gordon has his name on the mini record wall as well. Sharon Russell Parr, for your record-breaking achievements in the sport of swimming and diving, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame.
Thank you.
And I know Sharon didn't want to talk a little, maybe she was a little more comfortable amongst many friends.
Especially after Steve, I'm not happy about that. So it would be nothing like Steve's. But I mean, this morning was a little humbling. You know, it was, so I really thank you. You know, it's an absolute honor to be part of this, and it was so wonderful speaking to the girls this morning. They had very funny questions, and it brought me back, and I just thank you. It's been great. It's been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Our next inductee considered wrestling his secondary sport and actually didn't pick up the sport until 8th grade. All things considered, it wasn't too shabby of a secondary sport for inductee Doug Spelman. Doug would go on to win 2 OCIAA and Section 9 titles in wrestling, finishing 6th in New York State his senior year. Doug then went on to Yale and played for his club team his senior year, finishing 4th at the club nationals. Talk about a talented athlete. Doug's main sport was soccer, and all he did on the pitch was become a 2-time All-American and an academic All-American in leading the middies to the Section 9 title as a junior and an OCIAA title as a senior. Doug seemed to come out of the crib a born leader. His personality trumped only by his humility and work ethic that drew teammates to him. As Doug tells it, he just felt connected with his coaches and teammates. Doug traces those leadership qualities to his summers at the Middletown Parks and Recreation Camp, with his first camp coach being no other than Wall of Fame 2023 inductee and Middletown football legend, the late coach Dick Wilslayer. In the 6 years he attended the camp, and later years as a camp counselor, Doug learned from many other coaches that helped mold him into a leader. Who knows what Doug Spelman would have accomplished in wrestling had he worked at it year-round, if not for the work he did in the off-season, devoting himself to the youth and club soccer. But wrestling toughened him like nothing else. His workout foes, including a certain current MHS principal named Billy Donahue, and those mat room scraps involving edgy grapplers with big hearts and big dreams pushing him to the max. He remains part of the midi wrestling family text chain, filled with those Middletown star grapplers of the 1990s and 2000s, many of whom are now coaching. Married with 18-year-old twins, Doug says wrestling became kind of his favorite sport, saying really fit into his personality. Steve Garland and I ran for 2 hours during snow days in our boots. I'm surprised you didn't mention that. Doug went on to have a brilliant soccer career at Yale. He was a starter for 4 years and a captain his senior year when he was in all-conference selection. He's quick to compare those Yale teams to his midi squads melded by accountability and belief, teams that stress the name on the front of the jersey instead of the one on the back. Doug Spelman, For your achievements in the sports of soccer and wrestling, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame.
Thank you.
Now you get to go back at him.
Yeah. It's not the start story, Steve. You saw that in the first video, right? Well, listen, first, I just want to express how grateful I am to be back at Middletown High School. This place looks amazing. I remember going through these halls when it was not so clean and not so shiny. There were no video screens on the wall. We did not have this sort of institutional support. Now, we had a lot of great people and great resources, but what we have here today is really awesome, and I hope the kids today are appreciative of that, because it's wonderful. This school has stood in service to its community and has been the backbone of our community for decades, and it continues to do so better than ever, and I'm really proud to see that. So I want to say a few words, and I want to mention a few people here. So you know, we're thinking about the rich history of Middletown athletics, and I want to acknowledge some people who came after that, actually. I want to say thank you to Juliet, to Dr. J, Juliet Spelman, my wife. We met in college playing soccer in 1995. She's been my best friend ever since, and it's awesome to have her here with me, always supporting me. My twins, half of my twins are here. Robert is here. Sophie's in college. Robert goes next week, sorry. I mean, my pride and joy, my inspiration, my motivation every day. Thank you, Robert. My mom, to Kathy here. Many of you may have met or know Kathy through the years. She supported me every single day. She instilled in me an irrational confidence that I could do anything I set my mind to, and I am forever grateful for that, and that continues to this very day. So don't we all just need a champion in our corner, someone who believes in us? Well, that's my mom. That's who she is. Next to her is my sister Caroline. Now, Caroline is the first Spelman with her name on the wall at MHS. Her name was in the pool, not as many times as Sharon, but almost, well, once at least. But it was on that wall, and that inspired me. Never underestimate the power of those sibling rivalries and those sibling mentors and motivators, because that'll push you. So thank you, Caroline. And I want to mention a few coaches that really matter to me, and I hope they get the respect. And I see in the current coaches a lot of the same traits. But before I do that, I want to thank Dave Coates. You had a vision. You put this together, and the thing about these groups, and it's, I mean, I especially like this event, the part where all the nice things were said about me a minute ago. That was among my favorite parts. But here's the point with these events. You can build connective tissue across different people, different groups, across different generations, and there's a really unique power to that. Great organizations honor their own, and they honor what good behavior looks like, and then you get more of it, and then you have connections, and people love that. Who's not having a good time today? Everyone is loving this event. It's a great event. As somebody said earlier, it's one of the favorite events of the year. So it really is, and thank you for making that happen. I want to shout out 5 coaches real quick, and these 5 individuals were really, really important to me, and I should have said thank you a long, long time ago, and I didn't. First one's right here in the front row, and it's Tom Clarke. He's a fellow inductee. He's an icon, and you'll hear all about him, but I'm going to front run and steal a little of the plot here. The godfather of Middletown soccer, and maybe like me, soccer might not have been his favorite sport, or maybe not his best sport, but he paved the way. He put Middletown soccer on the map, and he allowed for others to follow, teams and individuals, to get recognition because we were somebody, because we mattered, because Tom Clarke made us matter. So thank you, Tom. Furthermore, Tom was my economics teacher, and when I went to college, what did I major in? Economics. Was that a coincidence? It was not. And so everything subsequently that's followed, my career, my life, everything that's gone, it was not unrelated to your instruction in the classroom. So on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of who knows how many countless other people you touched and influenced who probably had never had an opportunity to hold a mic in front of you and say thank you, Tom. Really appreciate that. My coach, soccer coach here at MHS, Tony Cavalier. Now Tony was he was a shorter man, as you know, if you know Tony, but he held his head high. this man had a heart of gold, and he believed in people. He gave respect to people who came from nothing, who came from all different sorts of communities, actually from all over the world. He put his arm around them. A lot of them didn't even speak English when they got to MHS. Tony reached out to them. He put feet on their shoes. He made sure they were safe. And from that, I'll forever be grateful. And now Sarah's running his foundation now and is continuing the great work that he did, because he really was awesome. And I want to share a quick story about him. He had this way. He would pass his wisdom through stories and through sayings. He always said sayings, right? You probably got a heavy dose of that, I did. And so some of his saying, he was like this cross between Marcus Aurelius, this like Roman thing going on, and then also Yogi Berra, this like savant kind of spinning off these funny stories. But he would say things. My favorite was, excuses are for losers. And if you think about that and look at the couple meanings in there, maybe you'll remember that. Next time you're thinking about making an excuse, you'll think about where that comes from. Maybe you'll remember Coach Cavalier. I want to thank Frank Lentino. He was coaching soccer and track. He was positive and he was bright. And before there was a science of mental health in sports, he was the guy who just instinctively knew if kids feel good, if kids feel respected, if kids feel like they are supported, they play better. When you play better, you win. And when you play better, you have a good time, you want to do more of it. And he knew that. So before there was a science, he knew that and he did that. And he helped all of us to be our best selves because he just knew that the instincts were there. He was one of a kind, and he was ahead of his time in a lot of ways. Pat Kennedy, where is he? I know he's here. Coach Kennedy. Thank you, Coach. Great soccer coach. I think somebody here, Ben and Chris are here. They said, my soccer teammates, they said, best coach they've ever had. He was awesome, and he was a winner, and he was a quiet leader, and he was humble, and he held us accountable. Like Steve said before, you need guardrails, you need people to believe in you. Coach Kennedy did that, and he held us accountable at a time when kids really needed to be held accountable and still do. Thank you, Coach Kennedy. You did that for all of us. And then my last coach, Paul Cummings. He was my modified soccer coach. He was one tough SOB. In 7th grade, he saw that I was having some success with soccer. He didn't like it. He wanted to take it down a peg. He said, no more right foot, left foot only, exclusively left foot. When I didn't, he wouldn't yell at me. He'd put me in goal. So he'd play me in goal. So he had somebody who would later be an All-American midfielder, and he was playing him in goal. And that's probably why you know Coach Cummings as a wrestling coach, not a soccer coach. What he did for me was he said, 8th grade, come out for the wrestling team. I'm tired of you saying you want to not do this. Get on the mat. I did. It changed me. He taught me accountability. He taught me what it was to give 100%. Not the cliche where we turn up and act like we give 100%, but give 100%, everything you got. And under his leadership, we did that. And so from the first time I stepped on the mat till I was on the podium at States to every single day, hearing his voice in my head when I'm confronted with a hard thing. And I hope everybody is experiencing that with the coaches and the teammates. And you hear those voices, they stay with you forever, for a lifetime. So Coach Cummings, thank you for getting me on the mat and for never leaving, being that voice in my head. So I really appreciate that. Others, Dr. Charles Skipstunis, the superintendent, was amazingly supportive. Dennis Hand started the MIDI Pride that we all repeated so many times, Dean Outerkirk, and Dick Wilslayer. My first boss, so proud to have worked for that man. Parks and Rec, we all love sports games, right, Jim? Love it. So important for us. And it was awesome to be a kid working for him, because what a great leader, and what a great man. And to have an opportunity to have exposure to somebody like that was wonderful. And every boss since then has been kind of a disappointment, to be honest. But I'm grateful to have worked for him for several summers there. Now, I spoke with Kevin, and I'll wrap up here. I spoke with Kevin on Thursday. He said, the quote was kind of there, oh, you seem like kind of a natural leader. And so I'll say the following to that. When you have role models like my mom, and when you have somebody who shows you true love and support every day, and you have great coaches, great administrators, and great teachers who walk the walk every day, it's easy to follow them. It's easy to learn from them. And so, born with that, I don't know, more monkey see, monkey do, really. But it was to them who I owe a debt of gratitude. That's who I learned from. We walk around with our heads high here in Middletown, and we should. Because you can go anywhere. And we have people in Greece right now, we have people all over the place. You can go anywhere. You can literally go anywhere from Middletown. But you can't be from anywhere. You can only be from one place. I'm from Middletown, and I have many pride, and I love to be here, and I'm so honored to be here, and I thank you for all you've done with this.
Great stuff, great stuff. I think I got part of your speech over here. I almost reread it. So forget trying to measure Diane Wanzer's impact on girls' sports in the Middletown School District. It's hard enough to adequately measure her impact on girls' sports in all of Section 9, if not the entire state of New York. Diane's reach spans more than 50 years ago and can be traced to a meeting with fellow Midi coaches not long after her debut in 1973. It was Diane and the late Kathy Sandwald, and mostly male coaches at the table, and the women were trying to understand why they were only making 1/3 the salary of men's coaches at the same levels. So Mr. Clarke was making a lot more than you were. Soon enough, the women had a much-deserved raise, albeit 3/4 of the pay of the men. But it was a critical launching pad for all of the girls' sports with Title IX, the 1972 federal civil rights law prohibiting discrimination based on gender in its earliest stages. It was also the first version of today's pay scale that soon enough was equitable regardless of gender. Of course, female coaches weren't the only ones thanking Diane. Her students in physical education classes and athletes on the playing fields embraced Diane's humble coaching style predicated on fairness and accountability. She went on to coach soccer, tennis, basketball, and cheerleading in a 46-year run that ended in 2019. Diane started some of the first intramural programs for junior high school students, as well as summer and off-season programs year-round. In fact, Diane has coached 3 Midi Wall of Famers in Stacy and Sherry Morris and Lois Ann Hayes, who nominated Diane for this honor. She continues her tireless work as a Section 9 girls soccer chairperson. I see her every winter bundled up in her jacket, getting everybody ready for the playoffs. A tall task that includes overseeing and facilitating all of the sectional playoff games each year, and her association with school sports now enters its 6th decade. Diane Wanzer, for your coaching achievements and your impact as a pioneer for girls sports here in Middletown, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Wall of Fame.
Thank you.
I didn't think I would. All right. Preparation. So, thank you, first off, for everyone that's come here today. And one of the things that I just like to start out with, because I didn't expect to see all these people, but we do have the first teams that are here, some of the members of the first teams. So would you folks please stand up so they can see what you girls look like? There's other members of my teams that are here, so why don't you stand up too? Because you're looking In 1971, I started working at Garland Junior High School, which is this building, with my dear friend Kathy Sandwell. First thing that we looked around and we were saying, wow, there really aren't opportunities for girls' sports here. The girls they really don't have much of anything. So the first team where we went out and said, okay, let's take the bite. Let's see if the people will give us permission. We started we asked for the girls' basketball team. And so our athletic director said, you know what, I'll get back to you on that. So when He came back, this is what he said. Only one of you are going to be hired as coach, which that's fine. And because our goal basically was girls needed to play. We didn't care who coached them, but they needed teams. So Kathy was appointed the coach. The first thing he wanted to know was, are they going to quit after their first loss? And we just looked at one another and said, well, obviously, you've never met the Hayes family, the Perez family, and the Donnelly family, and then the others that went along who were just as cutthroat. So our team was granted. They also decided, well, you know what, we need a JV team also. So I became the coach of the JV. Kathy became the coach of the varsity. Varsity program, 5 and 9 the first year, 9 and 5 the second year. Then after that, it was just pure success. Eventually, Kathy decided she was going back to school, so she's going back for a PhD. Kathy Zipchuk took over for, I believe it was a year, and then Kathy came back, wasn't going to coach any longer, so I became the varsity coach. And I coached varsity basketball for 20 years. So, one of my first journeys as coaching was the athletic director walked by me one day and said, by the way, we need a freshman girls cheering advisor. And I said, okay. So, how hard can this be? I'm going to have to go out and get a panel of judges. That's not going to be that bad. And then once you're coaching them, what are you doing? You're supervising. The kids are going to know the cheers. I only have home games, so I'm not going to get a bus. So right after tryouts, the kids come up to me and say, you know we don't have uniforms. What? We don't have uniforms? We have a game in 11 days. So, kids went out, bought the patterns. I went out, got the material. We spent a day at my parents' house. They tinned material, cut out material, took it home. Voila. 2 days later, in another one of my journeys as coaching, same thing happens. By the way, we need a girls' tennis coach. Okay, so I'm a tennis coach. The fun thing about the tennis was these girls were also members of the marching middies. Now, the marching middies were big deals in those days. They were practicing all the time. Cars were out of the parking lot, the marching middies were there. So we not only traveled with our tennis equipment, but we traveled with our instruments. And yeah, things were a lot more lenient in those days because you could hear the tunes of the marching middies as we were going to games. And one of these very memorable moments, we pulled into Goshen High School. Well, we pulled into Goshen. It was called Hooker High School in those days. So at this particular day, I just happened to be at the end of the bus. And as I get to about the middle, the line stops abruptly. And here comes Lisa Hayes down the aisle, the wrong direction, with steam coming out of her nostrils. And I'm like, whew, this is not going to be good. So Lisa looks at me in the eye and says, what is that? I bend down, look out the window, and I say, it looks like girls' soccer. And she says, exactly. Then why are we playing this? Said I'd look into it. Next day, before I even got to school, Lisa has been to the athletic director. She has said to him, we are not playing tennis next year. We want to play soccer. And yes, Diane Wanzer says she will coach us. So, I left tennis and became the soccer coach. A few years after that, I'm walking down the hall again, and the athletic director says to me, by the way, you're the new Section 9 girls soccer chairperson. And I'm like, Gotcha. About 2 steps later, I'm saying to myself, I wonder what that means. So, that was 1981-82, and it is a position that I still hold to this day. Because of Middletown, I've just been blessed with opportunities. I'm still involved with the leadership of Section 9 athletics, directly involved with New York State Public High School Athletics Association. I'm one of the 12 people that are running New York State Girls High School Soccer. And along the way, I've had the pleasure of working with wonderful individuals. Kathy Sanwall, Kathy Zipchuk, Mary Donnelly, Debbie Schneiderman, Leslie Alborn, Lois Ann Hayes, Denise McEwen, Nancy Holbrook, Chris Brinkerhoff, Ed Bobel, Caitlin Gould, Jenna McCary, John Hogan, Mackenzie Gage, Jackie Munson, and Lindsay Hammer. That's a lineup. Middletown has blessed me with so many opportunities that I've always tried to take advantage of and make the most of. Thank you to the Middletown School District, the Board of Education, the Superintendent of Schools, and the colleagues who have made this journey possible. And thank you to Dave Coates and the Wall of Fame Committee for this great honor of recognition. Thank you.
So this next inductee, kind of like what Doug said, he was my economics coach too, teacher as well. Now I went to school and ended up with a degree in broadcasting, but I ended up becoming a commercial lending and banking, so the economics stuck. Who would have guessed that the Boston Red Sox and the Detroit Tigers losses would turn out to be Middletown High School's game? You never know how these things go, but Mr. Tom Clarke, and for me, it's always going to be Mr. Clarke. I can't call you by your first name, I'm sorry. My parents didn't teach me that way. But Mr. Clarke, our next inductee, had a big league pitching arm. A cousin in the Tigers organization told him so, and Boston and Detroit talked about signing him and sending him to the low minors for low money. Well, of course, if you're an economics teacher, you're going to say no to that. So he made it easy for them and instead chose his wife and family. Mr. Clarke, a 1959 graduate, was a 2-time All-American college soccer goalkeeper who returned home. He became a Middletown High School social studies and economics teacher and stayed for 34 years, including 29 as a department chairman. He was named soccer coach, stayed 21 years, and left with a school record 256 victories. That strong arm of his, along with those baseball hands, attracted the attention of then boys soccer coach Ed Roddick after playing varsity baseball for Roddick as a freshman. Mr. Clarke played different sports growing up, not just soccer, and then started his final 3 years at Middletown. He earned varsity letters in soccer, swimming, and baseball at Middletown, and soccer, baseball, and golf at SUNY New Paltz. As a Middletown coach, his disciplined approach carried over to his teams, and boy did they win. The Middies earned 19 straight Section 9 tournament bids, a section record at the time. They won a combined 15 conference, league, sectional, capital district, and tournament invitational titles. There was no state tournament back in those days, but in 1981 and 1985, Middletown was ranked in the nation's top 50 by People magazine. He was also an enormous advocate for the game locally and for the impact it would have on his players. Mr. Clarke twice brought his teams on trips to Mexico as well as Germany. I was on one of those trips to Mexico. Lost my luggage, lost everything, but that was okay. I still had a good time. And they had a 4-2-1 record against tough competition. He also was part of the group that created the Kiwanis Youth League in the 1970s, which gave kids a chance to learn the game and laid the foundation for his successful teams.
in the early 1980s. Mr. Tom Clarke, Coach Clarke, for your remarkable 21-year coaching run, we officially welcome you to the Middletown High School Class of 2025 Hall of Fame.
Final time. Thank you.
I think the word that comes to mind first is wow. Never expected this. I walked into that lobby. It's been an hour with history. All of the people that I taught, I coached against, coached with. It's been an experience. And David, all I can say is this is first class. This is absolutely first class. And I thank all of you for coming. I just wanted to say thank you to some people. You need a note card when you get to my age. John Perino. John and I have been friends for over 70 years. And I want to thank him for not forgetting an old friend. Thank you. David Coates, thank you for the phone call and the letter and this whole thing. It's wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Kevin Witt. Kevin was a student of mine. He played in our program, and I spent a couple hours with Kevin, and we took a trip down memory lane. All of it was positive. When you get into your 80s, the hopes and dreams of your 20s and 30s become memories and reflections. And I had a lot of those, and I had a lot of those out in that lobby, and it's something I'll remember for the rest of my life. I want to thank the rest of the committee for believing that what we had done merited this recognition. Thank you. I want to thank the people that coached for me. Tony Cavalier, Danny Johnson, Tony Napo, and Pat Kennedy. And the comment that was made about Pat Kennedy, he was one of the really good coaches that's come to Middletown. Thank you, Pat. I want to thank Diane Wanzer. Diane and I shared practice facilities. We shared a game field. And I don't know whether Diane remembers this or not, but one time we actually put the boys and girls together and did some non-contact drills. And when we finished, we got up in the locker room, and Scott Laskowitz came to me and said, Coach, he said, don't put them on our schedule next year. He said, there goes an undefeated season. Practice was tough. They were disciplined. They were well coached. Diane, thank you. I want to thank the hundreds of young men that played for me. They took a good Middletown program, 8-7, 9-6, sometimes 7 and 8. And those kids turned it into a program that became a state soccer power. We also, in 1981 and 1985, were recognized nationally as one of the top high school programs in the country. And that's a tribute to those young men who were willing to run the hills and the laps and the Saturday morning cross-country running that we did. And we all did it. The coaches ran with the kids. That was part of the deal. And last, I want to thank my family. I want to thank my daughters, Sandra and Justine. The events that I missed of theirs because of my coaching, they never complained. And when I retired in 1985, one of the prime reasons was the young lady sitting right there, Sandra. She was an accomplished tennis player here at Middletown. She went to the state tournament in tennis. She went to college. She went to the nationals in college. And 1985 was her senior year, and I wanted to spend it with her. And I did. 64 years ago, a beautiful, young, former Monroe Woodbury cheerleader, and I decided we were going to make a life together. We've been married 64 years, 1 month, and 28 days. Yeah. She brought with her some things that I needed help with. She brought self-discipline. She brought structure and organization. She brought compassion. She brought patience. I'm still working on that one. And she brought a sense of humor. All of the good fortune that I had as a college athlete and as a coach and a teacher, both at here and at the college, and as a father and a grandfather, can be traced right back to those 5 things that she helped me with. I wouldn't be here today without her. Susan Clarke, thank you.
Let's give it up once again to our entire 2025 Wall of Fame class. What happens next, kind of like the Academy Awards, it's going to be a whirlwind over the next hour for you. So we need all of the fans and family, if you could please head out to the front foyer. We need the inductees to remain here for a group picture. And then after that, we're going to bring the inductees to the very front of the events lobby, where you're going to be escorted down to the field, football field. Middletown plays Warwick at 1 o'clock, and at 12:45 or 1 o'clock we'll have the coin toss with all of our inductees down on the field. So I'm going to give this over to our athletic director. It was my honor and pleasure. Congratulations to all of you, and we'll see you down on the football field.
We had a great lineup, so just one more further thing. We're just going to do our photos here, and then all the inductees this year are going to be our honorary captains for the coin toss. Feel free to be down on the sideline. We'll get you down onto the field, and you'll be out for the coin toss with the boys before kickoff. The video will be shown that we had on our Jumbotron outside, so we hope that you enjoy it. We said that this was a great lineup this year, and it didn't disappoint. Congratulations again to the class of 2025.